Good Saturday afternoon. Welcome to Rhino's Comic Reports. We're doing a little midday snack, if you will, a little afternoon delight, but the PG way. I hope y'all are doing good out there. There's a bunch of fun cons going on, I think, right now from Comic Core, and I hope I don't take any of their coolness away. But we have a fun and energetic guest today. I just got to meet this gentleman not too long ago. He's an artist, a comic artist, writer, aficionado, whatever you want to call him. His name is Anthony Moore. He's from Limitless Comics. Anthony.
Tell TMZ I am busy, all right? I'm busy doing the podcast with Ryan. Shit. Hi.
This guy.
Hey, I'm sorry about that. Hey, I'm getting phone calls from everyone for some reason, but I'm focusing on this, Mr. Rhino.
Sorry. Yeah. I know you have a really, really busy schedule right now. Lined up. I know. So, you said, I think I talked to you a little while ago. You said it was pretty cool out there. What's the temperature?
Yeah, in Boston, it's probably about like 42, but about 45. But it is not a cloud in the sky and sunny. So when you're inside, it looks amazing. You go outside with your shorts and tank top, and then once you exit out the door, you're like, what is going on? It's freezing. So
yeah, I've never been to Boston. I know I take that back. I have been to Boston with cruise. There's a cruise line that went through there, and it's funny because I think Boston is real big about the lobsters, right? Lobsters are real big in Boston area.
Yes.
So, lobsters, I found out recently that lobsters are actually are cheap up there, but blue crab is real expensive up there. So blue crab to y'all is like lobsters to us.
Right? Oh yeah.
a weird little fact there.
And I just heard that the lobsters now are so cheap now because nobody's buying them. I heard that if they're like what $3 or something, whatever, a pound now, and they like
crazy,
unbelievable.
That's crazy. Yeah, for sure. I can't believe how cheap that is. I remember when we went up there, they made us a lobster in a bag, like in a brown paper bag. It was called Three Brothers Lobsters, and they made it in a paper bag and they brought it out. I was like, oh, that's cool. Check this out. my pops and I, we shared it. We're like, man, we're gonna have to get these ordered in sometimes. And we found out because he has a friend of his that is when he was around, he had a compadre that used to ship blue crab up to Maine, and he would trade. And it was like blue crab up there. Apparently, is very delicate.
Very. That when you order that, you have a menu when you go to a seafood restaurant. When you order blue crab, they go, oh well, here's the menu for that. You're like, oh, take that back. I can't afford them.
Yeah. That's crazy. We fish them with chicken legs.
What? All right, let me put this on my list. All right.
I know. I think it's lunchtime while we're talking about food. So, Mr. Moore, so tell me, you've been cooped up for a few weeks. Now, have you been real cooped up, or have you gotten out some?
I've gotten out, to be honest with you, since I don't work right now. I've been laid off temporarily. I don't know how that's going to go. But I've always been like, I tell people, I've been working since I've been 16 years old, 17 full-time, pretty much. Right after school, I used to go and work. It was illegal for me, but I was the only 16-year-old guy with a beard. So they were like, listen, we're going to let you work. But because we need you. It was at McDonald's. So after school, I went straight to work and worked till 10. I was supposed to work till 8. I worked till 10. So I've been working 40 plus hours since then, and I can't break out of not going somewhere. So I talked to my wife, and we agreed I can go out on my mission to the to the coffee shop and sit in the parking lot, get my coffee, listen to the music for about an hour and a half every day.
Yeah, so you're a coffee guy like me. I have to have my coffee every morning. I can't start my day until I do.
Me too. My wife said, "What's wrong?" I'm not in a good mood. She goes, "Well, here, drink this." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm not Okay, I love you.
Better now. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That coffee is just a miracle. Some people with Red Bull, some Monster drink. I like that sometimes, but coffee, that's what I need. Oh,
yeah, for sure. So have you seen any of the online Comic Cons going on recently? I know a lot of artists nowadays, like yourself, are doing a lot of online stuff. But you know what? Before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, kind of where you're at, what you're doing, what your title is, and just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, all right. Oh, let's turn the pages back here. Let's see. All right, my name's Anthony Moore, and I'm the owner and the creator of Limitless Comics. I've been collecting comic books for so long, since I think maybe I would say probably since 1979. I've been collecting comic books, and I've been drawing way before then. And I used to always draw all these crazy monsters, like just regular dinosaurs, actually. And reading the books, and I just started getting into drawing superheroes from that. But believe it or not, I was pretty much into sports, pretty much. I used to love boxing a lot. So
boxing.
It was a gym up the street from me, and I got into that for about a summer and a half until they burned that gym down. Sorry about that. Oh, and there we go. And then after they closed that down and they stole my bike so many times, my mother said, "No more bikes for you. Stay in the house." So I said, "Well, I might well pick up drawing again and then polish off these Twinkies in the cabinet." And
right,
that's been about me.
So either Twinkies or Ding Dongs, which ones do you like?
Oh man, I love Ding Dong, but for some reason they cut them things off over here.
No way.
Yeah, they forced them Twinkies on us, man.
Man, we had Ding Dong, but they don't come in the foil wrap like they used to.
Oh.
Remember they used to come in the foil wrapper? Man. So you used to be an artist, and you used to be a boxer, man. So you were like, this is my moneymaker right here. I can't mess this up.
Yeah, I was like, he was I forgot his name was Sulva. He was an old Jewish man, had a boxing club up the street, and every time I used to go up there, for some reason up the street was, of course, the little corner store, and every time I go up there was some bullies. I remember his name was Korcher and Rodney Parham. They would always say, "Hey, give us the bike. We'll be right back." Give them the bike, they take off. So he used to always sit out there at the gym and sweeping up around. He goes, "Hey, why don't you do something about it?" I'm like, "Hey, I can't." He goes, "Come in here. I want to show you something." And then I was like, "Oh man, boxing!" So he said, "Put these on," and then I get started. And it's history. Of course, I got beat up tremendously from them guys for my bike skill. I never beat them, but
they're always a little bit older and have a little bit edge on you. Seems like.
Thank you. That's why I keep telling my mother.
So that's why your mom kept saying the bikes keep going. They're like, I get it now. Now it all makes sense. Well, so now with your books, you can write them in the story and beat them up now on this end.
Yes, and I have done that when I was growing up too. I did that. That's so funny how you said that. Yeah, I drew them in the book as some mean guys, and I turned to Godzilla and beat them up. I didn't show nobody because I didn't want it to go back to them.
Yeah,
but I showed my mother.
That's funny. That's awesome. That's cool. So, you say you used to you started kind of drawing and doing stuff back in the day. Who was your favorite characters in it when you were growing up?
Man, one of the two of the books that really stick in my mind, the X-Men. I think I started collecting right around the Dark Phoenix saga. It was like in the X-Men 120s and 130s with the Hellfire Club, and man, they actually blew my mind. I used to always see Superman and Batman, but I never knew nothing about mutants. I really, no. So when I seen these heroes that were supposed to be heroes but hated by the world, because I only grew up on watching Batman, he saved the day, Superman, yay.
Yeah.
And that's when Batman had the gray and black suit. He didn't have on this all black, scaring the hell out of people uniform.
With West.
Yeah. Right. Yes. So I never knew that they could be heroes who were hated, but still. Well, that was the first plot twist I've ever seen in comic books, and that really dragged me in on that one.
So the X-Men, that's very. I used to like the X-Men a bunch too. There was I think the good thing with the X-Men was there was a character that you could really start to fall in love with or like, and you would identify with, and that was the beauty of the X-Men. You had a lot of different characters. One of them would stick out to you. You would want to know about that particular one. Cyclops, I think I used to like him a bunch, and Colossus. I think Colossus was really cool.
Unbelievable! I love Colossus. I started really drawing to him because I know everyone did the Wolverine, but I love Colossus because every time he fought, he always lost. God darn it! When he fought Black Tom, whether he fought the Juggernaut, whether he fought the leader of the Hellfire Club, and they always said, "You're strong. Maybe someday you'll be strong enough to win, but right now." You're out of your league. And that's when he fought this guy called the Gladiator, one of the Imperial gods for the Shi'ar planet.
Uh-huh.
And then they fought, and I remember seeing them fighting, and the whole building fell down. And then after the rumble, all the trash and all the debris cleared, Gladiator had him, like, he was passed out, but he still pulled him out. And I really thought he was going to win that fight on another planet. That hurt me.
Man, you're pulling. You had money bet. I'm betting money on this one.
Get him, baby, get him!
Yeah, so he was in a movie recently, and they gave him a Russian accent.
Yes.
I kind of caught me by surprise. I was like, wow, a Russian accent. Never would have pictured the Russian accent. And it's funny because if you think about that, I read comics and I'd hear them talking in my head, but I never really put it into place, like in a movie, what they would sound like. So when you're doing your art and you're creating characters, do you go into where this person's gonna have this type of dialect or this type of background or like I think like they would have a Russian accent or they would have a dialect from somewhere else?
Yeah, that is one thing I usually say when I talk to people trying to push my company. I always tell people it's easy to create a character by the looks and the suit, and then you can go out and get some expensive artists to make them look absolutely amazing. But then what about the background? Because I did a show back in the 90s, and it was for Realms, my first Realms back in 1997. And this kid destroyed me at my table, and I don't know if someone sent him there from Marvel or DC, but he was like, "Can I ask you a question?" So Realms, is it what's the definition? Is it an interplanet galactic universe? Is it a multi-universe? Is it this, that? How is it created? And I didn't know anything about that. I was like, well, it's just a really cool like universe, right? And they're like, well, is the realm one giant like planet with different realms? What are you trying to explain? And meanwhile, I'm kicking my brother's foot under the table. I'm like, listen, like set this place on fire or something so we can get the hell out the back door and leave this kid.
Yeah.
So after that, I remember going home and I said, I have to put more beef behind and start reading about characters, origins, and backgrounds and settings of places, and don't just be, hey, it's a nice hero and look at his suit. Well, what's his name? Well, I don't know his name, but look at his suit, man. I got it. So yeah, I was just doing that about an hour ago. I have this character, and he's from the South, so I'm trying to write the dialect of him using a lot of y'alls and ain'ts and fix and ready to, and I'm trying to get it right so when you read it,
Yeah.
I hope y'all like it.
I can't believe y'all is not in the when I do my texting, I put y'all in there all the time. And I'm like, it doesn't work right. It comes at autocorrect to something else.
That's what I'm talking. Thank you. Y'all, Rogue made y'all the word of the word. I don't know why people ain't following that. Because
I don't know what to do with that.
Let's put y'all in it.
That's so cool that you took it, like you said, that you remember that time, that character, and instead of being like, hey, get this kid out of here, you're like, oh, this is something I need to get in deeper into. And it was an opportunity for you to grow your craft. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was a little, honestly, we were having a lot of shows in Boston around that time. They were really cheap to go to. And I remember I didn't go to the next one. It was on one another month afterwards in the Radisson Hotel. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I didn't go because I was really thought I was going to see that guy again. And
wow.
And it was, you was generally like kind of a little shy of a kid growing up. I kind of broke out of it, but I think, and the thing is, he was also belittling me, like, and people were stopping and listening. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, so how many planets are in our universe? Name it. And I'm like, yo, listen, get out of here. He was really heckling me, and I didn't do that next show.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, how old were you?
Back then, 90-something. I think I was, it was like 97. The book came out, 96. I was about 23, 22. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was very into like working, going home and just really drawing and enjoying myself. But that kid, I think someone paid him to come to my table. I'm telling you, this guy zammed me. I was like, what is going on?
Like, don't get out of here.
Right? Someone set my pants leg on fire so I could get out of here.
Yeah, I get that. That's hilarious. That's
I wish I could see him now.
Yeah. You were a thing or two. Oh. So Rounds was the book, was that from Limitless, or was that from some, or did you pick it up from somewhere else?
Yeah, Realms, my comic book was from Limitless, but I was working with a company called Megaverse City. Mm-hmm. And it was one of them it was almost like the very, very, very first image, almost like an image type thing to me. He was bringing in everyone, and you would do it under the Megaverse banner, but you had your own, like, Limitless Comics. Another guy was, another one, Arctic Comic. We were all like that, but you just come there, use all his tables and brands and stuff like that. But it was a big, like, community center every Friday. So it was really cool, but we had to put Megaverse City on the top, but it was still like Realms was my book.
Yeah.
It was
that gets kind of hairy, huh? Whose book is whose?
Oh, it got really hairy. That's why I'm gone.
Yeah.
You had to sign a contract where you can't bother no one else. You can't heckle no one else's artist or anything like that. And so we all agreed, signed the contract. So people started seeing what I was doing, and they were like, hey, can I get you to draw a cover for me? And I'm like, well, I got to work on my book. Well, when you get a chance, and can you do a splash page, and can you help me with a character building? And then when I kept saying no to these people, I was like, well, not now, He came to me one day when I was coming in. I'll never forget, and he told me, you can't come in no more. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, we don't let, eagles are not allowed in here. And I was like, I ain't got no damn what eagle you talking about? I ain't got no birds. I don't even like birds. I like Rodin, but what are you talking about? And I guess a lot of people came to him and said I was being selfish, but I told him I was just following the rules. You said that we can't, bother no one. So I was just there in my little cubby, but they took it the wrong way. And so gave me back my $20 membership and told me to hit the road. And I said, I'll show you someday. I'll be real big. I'll show you. And I ran home.
Kicked me off and ran home. So that was so now you have Limitless Comp, or you had it then, but you still continue on with it, and you're in the middle, or right in the beginning stage, or in the middle of Muffin Man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's all finished and all funded and everything on Kickstarter. We did it, and now it's about to go to the print in about 2 days.
Very cool.
So actually, Mr. Jerry Jones is getting all the files, all the posters, trading cards, variant covers all set, and in about 3 weeks, I'm going to launch Solo 88, book number 1, which is going to be the second half of Muffin Man book number 1.
Huh.
You know, I'm gone.
So where are you? Are they in comic shops? Because the comic shops are not open. How are you doing that?
Well, actually, I do the crowdfunding, and then the people who purchase it, after I fill their rewards and everything, I always get like an extra of 20 of each book.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just go on my Facebook page, and tell people I'm selling these. I sell them an amazing package. I do a live thing, and I sell them there.
Oh, very cool.
I realized 2 years ago I had a whole backlog of books that I didn't know, because I moved here and I made a book in 2007, and I don't know what, I forgot about it because it was a crazy move. 2 years ago, I found 200 of them books. And I was like, what? So I got online and told people about it and what was going on. And I was selling them for $15 each. And I blew through that. Like within about 3 days, I sold about 100 copies online.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it. I thought I was getting punked. I was like, Ashton Kushner, where are you? You're getting punked.
Come back and put these back on my doorstep or something.
That's what I thought. So that's what I'm doing with the Muffin Man. So I always fill the rewards, and then I like to do it at home, because the comic book shops in Boston were very hard on us. They're very hard on independent comic book creators.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. I've actually went there and showed them the work. The workers there like it. They go get the boss. The boss doesn't come out the back office, or he's too busy, leave your number. They never contact you. And what is so funny, Rhino, this is amazing. Them 4 comic book companies, I kid you not, have got in contact with me since March. And they're like, hey, remember us from Comicopia, or remember us from Newbury Comics, New England Comics? You still got them books. And wow, that's amazing. So, of course, I tell them I don't. But that's
so
amazing.
because they think they need stuff for their shelves because of the whole diamond thing.
Yeah. And I'm that kind of person. When I usually ask you, for something, and if you kind of brush me off kind of the hard way, I'll kind of just pretty much almost remember that and just say, well, I'm going to stay away from this guy. It's not. It doesn't take anything to be polite. But the gentleman was like, listen, I'll take your whole backlog, everything you got. And I told him, I said, you know what? I really don't have anything. Of course I do. I'm taking up a whole bedroom full of comic books. But just the way that, I remember going into his store and he peeked out the outlet. And then I waited like 15 more minutes, and they go, oh, yeah, he said he's real busy now. I'm like, why didn't you just tell me that sooner? So,
Yeah. Why? My time's money too. Yeah.
Right.
So, there's independent stuff right now is really. I hear there's a lot of folks that are big in independent stuff, and I guess because of all the different things that are being, what is the term they use? I forget now off the top of my head. They're like, it's being like bought for a movie or bought for a TV show. And you get the big two. You got Marvel and DC, and then the Image was right behind that. And then I recently heard that Boom Studios is right behind that, which is pretty impressive because they come up pretty quickly.
I've been hearing about Boom. I think about a month and a half ago, the first time I've been seeing some stuff about them, and I was like, I thought Antarctic Press. I thought that they were like up in the rankings. They're there, but they're not as high up as I thought. And so,
and Boom, they recently came out with an idea that they said that they're trying to put out less books to provide more shelf space for other artists. And they figured that because I think that like Marvel and DC, they're putting out a plethora of stuff, and it's taking up a lot of space, but sometimes it's very, very watered down. And so why not pick out a really quality story and put that out and less just watered down stuff? And so what are your thoughts on that?
That is absolutely the right. That is, this is why I stopped collecting comic books, because not only did Marvel start it, and everyone followed that trend. I don't know who started first, but I know I first seen it in Marvel. That it seems like for some reason you get this awesome cover, and you get this cover, and then when you open it up, it's an artist. It looks like a 3-year-old chimp drew it, and the storylines are absolutely terrible. The one thing I hated the most is when I went into a comic book shop. It usually happened in Avengers, X-Men, and various times it happened in Fantastic Four. You pick up the book and it says, "Ever wonder what the X-Men do on their day off?" No, I don't care what they do on their day off. I want to see them fight.
Yeah.
And then you open it up and they're by the pool, or the Human Torch is playing around with the thing, and the thing's chasing them around, tearing up the Baxter Building. Or I was like, it was what I call a comic filler.
Yeah.
They didn't have nothing to write about, so then they filled it up with all this nonsense, and I got mad about that because I don't say nothing, but I was spending $1.95 on books back then. That was a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that at all. And then I started thinking, my brother was telling me, you know what? They have hundreds of writers at Marvel and DC. They can't come up with one story. They have to have this kind of joke going on.
Yeah, I agree. I read one character stuff, which is Venom, and so anything that Venom is in is what I read. But there's so much stuff that I read that is like I'm like, why was this book written? Like, what is the purpose? And there'd be even like there's been series of like in volume 2 and volume 3, I think especially. I just feel like why there was just like someone just threw this together just to put something out or to put something out and say that Venom was out this month. You almost wish they would just like, hey, we'll just skip it, because when you don't have it, it makes it harder to fonder, as they say.
Right, and that's, thank you very much. I remember when limited series were unbelievable. I remember reading Contest of Champions. That was the first miniseries. Mm-hmm. I remember buying that. And then and even the Secret Wars, Marvel Secret Wars was good, the first one. But then they started putting out these series that they thought people wanted to see with like main characters in them. They had like Wolverine, the Ghost Rider, all them teamed up, and it didn't go anywhere. They were fighting someone, and at the end of the whole series, you're like, that was a waste of paper, ink, and manpower.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the House of M. I still don't know what the hell went on in that.
And you think that Diamond's already maxed out as it is, trying to get out what they can. If they had, and then books are arriving jacked up because of shipping or whatever, it's because there's so much stuff there they have to do. It's a lot.
It's saturated. It's an overload. And I'll never forget when I went into the comic book shop. Comicopia was talking. I'm not saying the name too. I don't care. I'm gonna put him on blast. When I went in there and I looked around and I showed him the books, and he said, "Do me a favor, the guy. Show me where this book could fit at in this store. Show me where." I'm looking around. The shelves are packed. They've got unbelievable. It was like this. Wolverine, The Day of Wolverine, The Night of Wolverine, X-23 and Wolverine, Marvel Secret Wars, including Wolverine Secret Battles, Wolverine this. And I'm like, well, first of all, why don't you get rid of about 10 of these things? Because you don't need these. People are just buying them because of the cover. And why don't you put this here? Nobody wants to see a book about Lois Lane. Get her out of there. Give me a chance, because I always told them, you can do my book, we can do it on consignment. And you'll be making more money with my book. My book costs $4. Hell, I'll give you $2. That's more than what you're getting from them on Diamond. And not only that, you push me, I'm giving out free posters, trading cards, and every 3 months I'll come in and do a free signing, drawing, and on the house.
Yeah.
And, it'll help you out, it'll help me out. They just did not buy it.
Huh.
They wanted to keep all that saturated, Ben Grimm, and every time I go into comic book shops, not recently, but I just see all these comic books that don't make any sense, And I always want to know, why are people still coming in and buying these books?
It's very much a money driven market, it seems, nowadays, and even so with like the variant covers, now they're doing that, and they're doing, it's like Marvel's almost their own worst enemy. They're doing all these variant covers. They'll have a standard traditional cover, and then they'll have a 1 in 100, which is just the traditional cover without words, is the version. And it's like you're cheating the client, the customer that wants to get the 1 in 100, because you're just making it without words. And if you're going to put like the amount of, I think they just need to cut down the amount of variants too, the variant covers on a book. I wish before this whole pandemic went out, Venom 25 was supposed to come out, and I was flabbergasted by the amount of covers. And so I did a list of how many. There's over 22 covers for one book.
Wow.
That's insane.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's
20. And that's not including the duplicate covers that are like Virgin on one and not on some of the other ones. So and like you said, it's clearing the spaces for folks like yourself and others that have good quality stories that can be out there. So tell us. I know that you said you can get it on. So tell us a little bit about Muffin Man, about what you're currently working on. Tell us kind of the premise of it, if you will, and then kind of where to get it and pick it up at.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's all set. Going to the printer, so I'm going to be having it here in my house cut by a week or two. And I always do postings about every couple of days about it. I wanted something different. I wanted to get away from the capes, the bulked up heroes. You know, I wanted to have a creature, almost like a Man-Thing type creature, to be a hero. And I wanted someone to learn to love him. And I wanted this character to be, I wanted you to start off with this creature growing into a hero. I just didn't want to open the page and see him flying over the city, holding two cats and an old lady, saving them from a train. So I came up with the Muffin Man, and basically he's a creature that lives down in the sewers of the historical North End in Boston, Massachusetts. And there was always, stories of sightings, all kind of like Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster. Oh, the Muffin Man! The other day I see this big 7-foot creature. Head looked like a muffin. Yeah, right, whatever. No, I swear he was walking. Basically, no one's ever seen him because the Boston sewers, of course, they were designed by this gentleman from England, and we took the pattern from England's sewer system. But beneath there's another lower sewer system that they were actually working on, but they messed it up. That's where the Muffin Man's actually at, and he's been down there for decades and decades. Well over about 50 years, this creature's been down there. He's never been topside. He's never been. How he got there is kind of a little wild. It's probably going to come up in the first book. You can say, "Oh, that's it. Don't want to buy it no more." But yeah, he's been down there for a while, and he's never had like confrontation or anything with. He just lives off the rats and bugs and everything down there, and just kind of roams around and minds his own business. And due to their luck, a little girl named Little Miss Patty Cakes is what we call her. She actually ventured down. She's a psychotic kid. She ran away from a boarding home and found out that they were kidnapping these little kids, and she was scared. She seen what was happening, so she ran down into the sewer and was underground and found the door, went down there, fell down, and that was the first time he's ever seen what the hell? He's jumping around, and he's almost like when King Kong first met the blonde lady, the way, jumping around and coming close and smelling her and, throwing things that he doesn't understand. He's never seen anything before. But she's crazy and a little cuckoo herself, so she thinks it's kind of funny and everything. She came from a lot of broken homes, so she's a little psychotic little kid. You're going to see the old personalities come out in her. So she thinks it's like just the coolest thing, this creature. And him and her just become basically the best of friends, the best you can become friends.
Wow.
And it's a real it's a little bit of a love story and a horror story as well. And I'm going to say this right now, and everyone always say, don't say this kind of stuff because you're giving away the book, but I can give away the whole book because you'll still never get the story because it's that complex and that fun. He has this kind of goo symbol like goo inside of him that it's like almost like a living type of bacteria. And what's going to happen is when she's bringing him up in the back of the alleyways and showing him he can't get through a hole, but she goes through to go get some food and, sneak some stuff for him. She gets by this weird guy in the alley. She gets captured. He wants to kill her and all that stuff and rape her, the old pervert man. She screams. He hears her. He goes crazy. He never, he ends up killing the guy. But when he kills the guy, he pumps the chemical stuff inside of the man.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets inside the guy's system, and the stuff is still alive. It's never been in a human host before. So now it's kind of oozing out, and it's kind of going different places. So once the stuff gets inside of you, you become like a Play-Doh. Like your face comes smooth, no fingerprints or anything like that. You just become like a smooth skin. Right, so they can't check fingerprints. So they put them in the morgue, and then they bury him in a place where homeless people, because they don't know who the guy is. The symbolized stuff gets out through the wooden casket and goes all through the graveyard and reanimating all these people and all these dead people. And so the people who were dead, whether they were mob people, ex-police officers, or whatever, they start reanimating, coming back to life and remembering the last thing they were. Like I have this mob boss who they killed because he kind of betrayed them. Now he's coming back to life. He's not know what's going on, but he remembers little patterns of his past. And he's going around looking and killing and stuff like that. So the main thing is, Patty Cake said, this is because of you. You created this. Now you have to rectify it and kill it. So she's making him become a superhero.
Huh.
In some ways, because you started all of this.
Yeah.
So now you're going to have to fix it. So now there's going to be all these creatures coming back. It's going to be this orphanage that got set on fire a long time ago, and the police and them let all the kids die in there because they said, they ain't nothing anyways. Let them die. Ain't no one going to take them. It's less the city have to pay for them. Them kids are going to start coming back, and now they're looking for all the people who let it burn. It's crazy.
Man, that sounds really crazy. It's got some, it definitely has like a horror vibe to it, but also like, have you seen the movie Shape of Water?
Yeah.
Where the woman falls in love with the creature, almost like from the creature from the Black Lagoon.
That was beautiful.
I liked that movie a ton, but it for some reason that popped in my mind. And but I like the fact that you kind of put it in a you kind of had the horror twist to it, so you can have almost like sweet horror, if you will.
I like that. Yeah.
Your artwork is awesome, by the way. I looked at some of the stuff that I did do some research, and I was just thoroughly impressed. I was like, wow, because you have people that can draw, but then you have some people. I just like your style, the way you. I don't know what it is. There's some cool stuff that you've done. I think it was from Realms that I saw.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Really, really good artwork for sure.
I've always considered myself a C-level artist. I love drawing, but I like drawing for myself. But, a lot of people tell me that. That's funny you said that. I did the Realms comic book all on my own, but now I have two artists I'm working with, a gentleman named Ben Chakal and another one named Joe Galicia. Joe Galicia did Muffin Man #1 and Solo 88 #1. Ben Chakal is doing some books for me right now, and I'm blown away by the artwork on them. And a lot of people, they tell me, they go, "Wow, the art's good. It's great." So are you gonna keep drawing? And I'm like, do you guys really want to see me draw? Because I freaking don't wanna see myself draw, but my wife always tells me when she looks at my Realms book, she goes, I'm really a fan of yours. I'm like, well, you're my wife. You're supposed to say that. You know, well, you better say that,
Right.
or someone's back in the car and leaving.
Right.
But I kind of do. My artists who I'm working with now. If you look at the book, they draw like realism type characters. Like it's very rare to see them draw like someone like the Hulk or someone, because their body anatomy that they draw is so like it's like perfect. Like this is a guy you'll probably see on the street. I'm trying to let them know that you're gonna have to enlarge the bodies. When someone's yelling, don't have them yell like a red. Have their mouth really stretched out. Have it really animated, because that's what people love, especially with comic books. And they're getting to it, but it's still in some ways not resonating. They're kind of so used to drawing like that realistic. Like for instance, I'm not plugging anyone, but I want to show you. Very rare you'll see someone like the Violator right here, okay? Like that. But this is from War Dancer. This guy on the front cover, you know, I've seen a guy like this one. I've seen a guy like these guys walking on the street. That's almost like a regular human type.
Regular Joe.
Yeah. So he's got a little muscle definition, but so I want them, when they draw the characters, I want them to draw them like comic. That's what we're buying comic books for. Because we want to fall in love with big, brawny heroes or giant villains with neck traps the size of Volkswagen Beetles. And that guy.
Yeah, he's some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
We have a question for you. It says, is there a possible crossover with Muffin Man and the Ninja Turtles?
You know what? I gotta say something about that, which I'm gonna, you know, when I get off the phone, someone's gonna call and yell at me about that. But I passed the message on to someone who knows Eastman and the people who did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they passed on a couple of pictures of the Muffin Man, and they said, you know what? This would be something kind of cool that you might want to talk to this gentleman about. He wrote him a message, and he did write back and say, nice character, but that was all he wrote back to the guy. But, you know, he's still pushing for that, because he said that is something that he would really like to see. And yes, the fun you said that the gentleman who was on Antonian, the gentleman from France, he drew this yesterday. It is the Muffin Man sitting down eating pizza with one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the sewer.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
So I laughed, and people are loving it. It's getting a lot of hits. So
that's cool.
I would, you know, I was like, where do you come up with that? He goes, it's something that should happen. I go, well, you're right, it should. So I would love to have that crossover happen. I'm still trying to work on some people that he know. I've actually talked a little to Eric Lawson, you know, seeing about if I could get him to do a little something with one of my characters in the Savage Dragon. He's kind of famous for teaming up with people, and I guess because the dragon is green, I figured Muffin Man's green.
Yeah.
I figured, get him in there.
Yeah. It says it can happen there. There's some cool crossovers. I mean, recently I grew up like watching the Transformers, and they recently just did a crossover where the Transformers and the Terminator were together.
I just seen that cover about 3 hours ago. Are you kidding? We're on the same wavelength, you and me.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was awesome. It was a cool cover.
That was amazing. They had like Megatron or something, right?
Yeah. It was Megatron a cover with and he had like the hands. He had like the heads of something on there.
Wow, I looked at it on my phone and I go, oh.
It says, don't forget about Rudy A.O.
He's also killing it. Yes, Rudy A.O. was someone I was going to talk about a little later on, but now Rudy's going to kill me now. Because Rudy's going to say, you didn't say my name? Rudy A.O. is someone who I've been knowing for about 7 years. Let me get this out quickly here.
All right.
7 years I've been knowing Rudy Ayo. Rudy he's an amazing guy. He draws realistic type artwork and everything like that. And but he paints like I've never seen anyone paint like this man. This man is outstanding. So me and him have a friendship. But now he is a cover artist for DC Comics. So he put out a couple of Marilyn Monroe Harlequin mashups, and it's sold out. It's like sold out. He's doing so many things right now, and I talked to him and asked him if he could do a couple of covers for me. So he said, actually, yeah, I'll do it. I said, he's very busy, but he goes, well, I've been knowing you for a while, and I've been loving his work before everyone's like really been loving his work. So he's been doing a lot of covers for me. He did some variant covers for The Muffin Man, for Realms, and about this comic book called Thirst that's coming out. This is like from my Realms comic. Oh, that's really bad. But that's Rudy Ayo's.
Hold on. Let me see. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, now you got a cock.
Yeah, go figure. That's Mom's calling like, you on TV?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the Fat Witch of the Dark and Forest in the Realms book with her Twilight Dragons.
Gotcha.
And not only that, he also did one more I'm going to show you, which I think everyone's asking about this one. It is he did it for the Muffin Man, and I'll show you this one. Oh no, I can't really. Okay, and so now he enjoys. Like he goes, you know what? You're not that bad, Tony, because I don't ask for a whole bunch, but I really love for him working on my my covers. And you know what? People know Rudy, so they really sell. And he's doing some variant covers for my comic book coming out in July called Thirst. Half vampire, half voodoo queen. And yeah, that one, let me tell you, that one, you're going to be mad at me, but that's going to have some awesome variant covers. No. And I don't know, have you ever heard of Rudy before?
I mean, I might have a Martin's telling me that I'm gonna have to check some of his workouts, so I'm looking forward to checking some of the workout for sure.
He's an outstanding guy, and you want to know what I love about him? I've messaged a lot of people, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Over the years, I've messaged a lot of people, and I can name a couple of what's the gentleman? Walt Simonson, the guy who did the Thor. The old classic Thors. I messaged a lot of Marvel comic writers and artists and asked them how much would it cost to do a cover, or could you do something for me? How much? And they always said, I don't talk online. You meet me in line at the show if you want something done. We talk then. And I'm like, wow, that's what Walter Simonson said, the guy who I don't know we draw for, but he told me, I messaged him, and he goes, I don't do business on Messenger and Facebook. Come to the show and see me if you want something done.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man. So some of these people who work for these big companies are so up there with, like you can't talk to them. You can't,
Yeah.
I never wanted to be like that, Ryan.
I can imagine. I appreciate the fact that you're open to kind of let us get to know you and just just been real cool sharing all these different stories, and especially some of your projects here.
Oh,
the Vampirella thing seems great. The vamp female thing. What is it? What does you call it?
Thirst.
What is it called? Thirst.
Thirst. Yeah. I want to tell you something, and like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's just something I would love to say. It's a gentleman named Mike Marshalls. He's so new into this game. He's so new that his company doesn't even have a name yet. This gentleman is him, and he has a wife, and he has a lovely young lady who he just decided they want to get into this comic book thing. and she's a fascinating artist. And he came up and he goes, I want to we want to draw you some variant covers for Thirst that's coming out in July. Ryan, I want to be honest with you. I have about 10 people or more every week come to me and say, hey, I'm an artist, man. I'm going to draw for your company. How much you pay or whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, whoa, first of all, I'm pretty much all set with artists and stuff like that alone. I don't have that kind of money to pay people, but they send me like their artwork and they say how much, $150 a page, $250 a cover, and they're ready to work, but I better pick them up now because something's going to happen. And I always tell them, you know what, I'm all set. Thank you very much, because I'm starting off slow. But this gentleman, Mike Marshall, helped, and he helped support my crowdfunding. And he goes, hey man, I'm gonna draw a cover for you. I've never seen this guy's work or the young lady who's helping him out with the coloring and editing. And I said, okay, well, he goes, we're gonna do it for you. You're gonna love it. I'm like, I hate this, man, because it's never what I know or never what I like, and I can't put stuff out on my books. That's not good. Well, this gentleman here sent me in let me see if you can see that.
Oh, wow.
Boy, I wish I could.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. That is really cool, though.
And she's on like a gargoyle, and she is looking unbelievable. And I can't believe, I said, oh my goodness. And he goes, do you like it? I said, I love it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to run with it. I'm going to put that on the cover for this gentleman. And he goes, well, we have another one we're working on. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. That's awesome. I asked him why. And he just said, you know what? I love what you're doing. I love what you're creating. You spend time with the people. You never act like you're too good. And Ryan, I'm going to tell you the God knows truth. There's nothing worse, nothing that gets me more than when I see someone write to an artist and they write this whole biblical type thing. I love you, man. Ever since you've been a kid, man, did this, man. I remember, man, I was doing this. I lost my whole family, but I remember saving your comic books, and they're what got me through in life. And thank you for being this. And then the people reply with a thumbs up or a thank you. I mean, this guy just poured his whole damn heart out to you. You can't give him a few more lines?
Yeah.
It freaks me out, Ryan. I know a lot of people, some people say don't worry about that, but you know what? I do worry about that, and that's a one right there. That this is the first thing he said of her with the mask on, and I said, you know what? Cool. That's going to be on a T-shirt right there. Cool. I freaking love that. I just had to show that because this guy just came out. But I believe that if you're not getting from a comic book company, an independent comic book company, or mainstream, if you're not getting the respect you deserve, then that's why I always tell people, you can follow me. Because you know what? I'll tell you, I give out more comic books damn near than I sell. I talk to people for hours on Messenger, and I'm a very busy man, let me tell you. Very busy. Sometimes I have to hide in the bathroom so my wife be like, where are you going? I'm like, oh, yeah, that beef nacho nuclear burrito went through me. I'll be right back. Yeah. And I have to go to the bathroom because someone messages me and goes, hey, I'm going to buy you a book for my son. It looks cool. I can't write. I have to go and say, hey, well, thank you very much on behalf of Limitless Comic, blah, blah, blah. Because I want people to know that I am not just that comic company looking to get money and buy a pair of sneakers and a car and forget about people. That's how I gained my artists and the colorists I have now, because they said, we want to work with you and want to grow with you. And I go, if you're willing to do that, I can pay you what I got, but you got to respect every single guest. So whenever anyone purchases, if they write to Ben Jakal or Joe Galicia, Iwan Joku, or any of them, even Jerry Jones, you got to reply to them. I don't want to see thank you. If I see that, I take that very personal, because these people out here fighting to buy these books, times are hard, and if they're still going to purchase them, you're gonna damn near respect them if you got the Limitless Comics banner on your head, whether you want to or not. You know.
Yeah, wow, man, that's a lot of passion, and that shows a lot. That shows a lot about your character and what the direction of where Limitless is going. That's awesome that you made it like that's a rule of the company, and so that's great to hear kind of what the outlook of how much you respect your clientele and your fans. And it's fans, people can be fans of anything, of anyone. I've met famous artists and musicians in my past, and it means the way you get treated it'll be so much, it'll make such an impact when you meet that person, or if you were to send a message and get like an actual reply back instead of just a thumbs up, it means a whole lot more. I've met a lot of folks where they just they don't just have the time to say thank you or just do the extra little step, which means tremendous amount to those that are buying your product and enjoying what you're putting out. So, and
thank you for noticing that and following up on that, because I always tell people, if you're not happy by the way the independent comic book company you're purchasing for is treating you, come to someone over here who's going to respect you. I'm not trying to get the sales from you, but I've had people from Philippines, and two from Philippines and one from Vietnam. They follow me and they post and everything. They like the round. Wow, that guy's Superman. Nice. Their English is not that good, and they didn't have any money. I understand. Last year, I sent them packages of comic books and artwork for free. And my God, you don't want to know how much it costs to send a package to Vietnam. I was like, well, how much? How much? Can I turn in this bottle of water?
I'm going to save some cans up.
Right? God damn it. But I sent them anyways. And I just did at the end of my crowdfunding, I did a thank you. I gave away 10 ultra rare variant covers called the Dark Tunnel variant cover by Rudy Ayo. I picked out 10 people and gave them and picked them. 3 out of the 7 people didn't even pledge. I know their situation, but they always reposted, comment, or something like that. And I sent to them. And one guy messaged me and goes, hey, I pledged $140. How come I didn't get a book? Well, I understand that, and I thank you so much for your pledge. You might get an extra poster and stuff, but this guy over here who got the book, I won't say his name, he reposts everything I say, and he don't only repost it. He goes, hey, this guy Tony's doing big things. Check him out. Then he hits my post. He does that like 5-6 times a week. This guy, so I sent to him, and he told me, hey, I just have some issues right now with money, my illness. I go, listen, I don't want to hear about that, man. You're getting a book. I'm not looking for money from you. Yeah. So I'm giving him that, the package, trading cards, and everything, man. And if you're not getting this from your independent comic book company, then or any comic book company, you need to put your money where you're going to be loved.
For sure. We have Martin says that you're not lying, that you always interact with everyone. So that's a testimonial right there.
Well, you know what? He's ever since I've grown up. My brother Martin's been amazing. Me and him, we should. Oh no, that's not my brother. I'm not sorry. I don't know that guy. I don't even know this guy. No. Yeah, thank you, Martin.
That's the brother from another mother. Hey, well, I appreciate the time today to be able to get to know you, get to know a lot about Limitless, and the ending part is how you treat your folks is probably one of the best things I've heard. A company and say in a long time, and even an artist like yourself. So, appreciate that, and being a consumer, I appreciate that a tremendous amount. So thank you so much.
And thank you. And you know what, Ryan, what I'm going to do for you, my friend, also to tell everyone on here, what I'm going to do is everyone on here who's listening, I'm going to send Ryan 5 Realms 01, which is the prequel to, is taken 8 years prior to book number 1, so it's 01. It's the birth of the orphan child Thunderbringer. It's the first appearance of the Bliska gods, Baruch the Breaker of Souls, everything. And it's an amazing book. And I have out Realms 1, 2, and 3. This is 01, the prequel. So I'm going to send you 5 and get your address and send them. and you feel free to give them out, or if anyone you want to hand them out who's cool with you, please, if you can send them to them, I'm going to sign them and tell them to hold into them babies for me.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. That's amazing. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for the time.
Dude, thank you for your time. We appreciate you, and we know that you are busy, and you did take your time to come out and to let everyone know, a little bit about yourself and open up to us, and we appreciate that tremendously.
Yeah, and I thank you. I thank everyone who's listening, who will be listening. If you give me one more minute, I have a gentleman named Jerry Jones who works with Limitless Comics with me, and he has an amazing book called Driver 8 on Kickstarter. DRIVER EIGHT. It's an amazing dark sci-fi, and I freaking love this story. And I mean, it's got like 20 days already funded, but he's giving away some amazing stuff. So if you guys get a chance to go over there, Jerry Jones is outstanding. He's my right-hand man. Take a look at that book.
And the name of the book again is
Driver 8.
Oh,
baby!
Oh, baby! Well, it's been a great time, man. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll get you back on here again. And we're looking forward to Muffin Man.
All right. Well, thank you, brother. Thank everyone out there, and you guys be nice. Check out the Rhino. This guy has the coolest intro I've ever seen on any podcast. Holy banana splits! Just check it out for the intro, and get in contact with him about getting your Realm 01. He'll let you know how to get one.
Yeah, just give me a shout, guys, and we'll see y'all around. Take it easy, everyone, and y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.